Home dogs have traditionally done very well in Week 1, but which Cardinals team will show up to face the favored Chiefs? I'm Ben Wilson at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. After getting out of the gate at 7-0 last season, the Cardinals limped to an 11-6 finish, followed by a blowout loss to the Rams in the playoffs. In this game, Chiefs have seen basically all the action, up to 6-point or so favorites in the market, minus 240 on the money line, with a total of around 54. Cardinals at this point are now around 2-1 if you want to play them on the money line. This line originally opened at Chiefs laying about a field goal in May, had moved to about 4.5 by the end of the preseason, and then saw a lot more action, up to 6 early this week, with Kansas City coming off 6 consecutive AFC West titles. And since 2010, only the Chiefs and Broncos have won the division. Andy Reid has had some trouble with the Cardinals in the past. If you go back to his time in Philadelphia, he is 0-4 straight up and against the number on the road against Arizona. The big injury question mark for Kansas City is in the wide receiver room with newly acquired Juju Smith-Schuster, one of several pieces hoping to replace the now departed Tyreek Hill. Smith-Schuster listed as questionable for Week 1. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are without DeAndre Hopkins, who was suspended for the first 6 games of the season for PED use. Also remains to be seen if they'll have their starting center in Rodney Hudson, who's a firm questionable heading into Week 1. As of Wednesday, there was sharp early money on the Chiefs, almost 80% of the money backing Kansas City to cover, with that line moving more than a field goal to KC. It looks to be a matchup of Wild West gunslingers as two of the top passers in the AFC West face off in Los Angeles. I'm Ben Wilson from VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. In 2021, the Raiders' Derek Carr was 5th in the league with more than 4,800 yards passing, as Carr in the silver and black now face the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who was second to only Tom Brady in passing a season ago with more than 5,000 yards through the air. In this game, Chargers are around 3.5-point favorites at home, with the total set in the 52.5 range. Chargers about $1.80 on the money line, while you can find the Raiders in the neighborhood of plus 155. 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams have gone over the total, with the exception of last year's game between these two in LA. Chargers won on a Monday night 28-14 before the Raiders beat LA 35-32 in the final game of the regular season, which earns the silver and black a playoff spot and knocked the Chargers out of the playoffs. As for LA, we'll see if the rushing defense improves after being 30th in yards allowed on the ground last season and then 29th overall in points allowed. With the additions of Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson in free agency, expectations are high, but Jackson is out following an ankle surgery he had taken place in August. For the Raiders, some big additions as well. Davante Adams in as wide receiver. Pass rusher Chandler Jones had 5 sacks Week 1 for Arizona last year. He now comes over to help a struggling defense that was right around league average, 16th against the run and 12th against the pass. Since 2016, should be noted that Week 1 underdogs when facing a division opponent are 22-8 against the number, a 73% win rate. Old foes from the black and blue division collide Sunday in Minneapolis, with the home team coming in as a slight underdog. I'm Ben Wilson from VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Packers on the road, about 1.5 favorites in Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. We're right around plus 100 on the money line, Pack about minus 120 in the market, with the total hovering right around 47. The big question mark in this game is the injury concerns for Green Bay. Both starting tackles, David Bakhtiari and Elgton Jenkins, each questionable after rehabbing from season-ending injuries a year ago, while Mason Crosby, the kicker, is questionable after not appearing in any preseason games. Same can be said for Allen Lazard and Christian Watson, 2 of the Packers wideouts tasked with replacing the void left by Davante Adams. Meanwhile, it's a new era in Minnesota with a new head coach in Kevin O'Connell, who's been getting a lot of buzz in the Coach of the Year market. He's been bet all the way down in some shops in around 14-1. Vikings will be trying to snap the streak for Green Bay. 3 consecutive 13-win seasons, 3 consecutive NFC North titles. Pack coming in at 4-1, second to only Tampa Bay in the odds to win the NFC.
2 NFC Titans square off Week 1 on Sunday Night Football. I'm Brady Cannon at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The favorites to win the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, head to Dallas as slight road chalk to face the Cowboys. The total has been as low as 49.5 before being bet back up to around 51, with the under juiced to minus 120. It is now currently at 50.5. Both teams have suffered significant injuries along the offensive line, so quarterbacks Tom Brady and Dak Prescott will likely need to get the ball out quickly. Dallas lost blindside tackle Tyron Smith in late August to a severe hamstring injury. Tampa Bay will be without Pro Bowl center Ryan Jensen and guard Aaron Stinney, both of whom will miss the entire season. And tackle Tristan Wirfs has been dealing with an oblique strain, so he's listed as questionable. Both teams are also challenged with injuries to receivers. The Bucs' Chris Godwin is listed as questionable, and reports say he did not practice on Thursday. Russell Gage is also listed as questionable, but said he expects to play on Sunday. And the Bucs added Julio Jones to the lineup in the offseason. Dallas will be without wideouts Michael Gallup and James Washington. The Cowboys were one of the best in the NFL last season against the spread at 13-5. But Dallas was just 5-4 at home straight up. Tampa Bay was 6-3 on the road, so not much of a home field advantage exists. And Tom Brady is 6-0 against Dallas over the course of his career. This is a rematch of last season's opening game, which the Bucs won 31-29 on a Ryan Suckup field goal with just 2 seconds left on the clock. In a stroke of brilliant scheduling, Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson goes back to face his former team, the Seahawks, in the first Monday night game of 2022. I'm Brady Cannon at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. After 10 years and a Super Bowl title in Seattle, Russell Wilson faces the Seahawks as roughly a touchdown favorite in his return to Lumen Field. Midweek, the total was in the mid-40s and juiced to the under. Both teams were in the middle of the pack against the spread last season. Seattle was 9-8 ATS, and the Broncos were 8-9 against the number. The data on the total is mixed. The Seahawks' last 6 games finished to the over, but the Broncos were just 5-12 to the over last season. Denver has lost its last 5 Monday night games, just another reason that bringing Wilson in was a necessity. On the injury front, Denver is relatively healthy. The Seahawks may be without their second-round pick running back Kenneth Walker III, who missed practice with an abdominal injury. These two haven't faced each other since 2018. That was a Broncos victory, 27-24 in Denver, with Russell Wilson on the other sideline.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.